What's up, everybody? How's it going? My name is Tara T. Killakoha, and this is the Fantasy Fourth Down, where we always go for it. Because we give you that insider info to help you make those substitutions, elevate your lineup, and win week in and week out. Today's segment, I got pickups for you on the waiver wire at the tight end, wide receiver, defense, special teams, and kicker positions. So without further ado, let's get started. For your tight end pickup, I got Charles Clay for the Buffalo Bills, who last week against the Miami Dolphins was good for 5 catches on 7 targets, 82 yards and a score. They are playing the New York Giants at home this week, a defense who's given up 240 receiving yards to opposing tight ends on the year thus far. So with Tyrod Taylor, the chemistry going between his receiving core, plus Sammy Watkins being out with a calf injury, I think Charles Clay will be good for at least a touchdown, a handful of yards, especially in PPR. Even if not, he's a good look, good pickup, especially if you got Gronk on a bye this week. I like him in week 4, and probably going forward, he's produced well on the year thus far. And for your wide receiver pickup, I like another guy on the Buffalo Bills, Mr. Robert Woods, who will jump into the second wide receiver spot with the injury to Sammy Watkins' calf. Now, he has a very low own percentage, so he's available for you everywhere at around 2% own percentage or less. Unlike Charles Clay, which I forgot to mention previously, who's at about 55-60% across all platforms, so you want to swoop him up. Now, Woods, he's available for you, and he's been good on over 80% of his targets on the year. He's averaged about 14 yards per reception, and with Percy Harvin being able to spread the field with his speed and his agility, it'll open up the short pass game for a guy like Woods. Also, Tyrod Taylor is sharing the wealth, and they're putting up 33.3 points per game this year so far. So, I like Robert Woods as a nice pickup. He's available for you, and he's probably going to get you some points. I like him for a score, and again, a handful of yards, just like Clay. Buffalo Bills happy, I suppose, this week, but he's going to be a good option when you got Watkins out. For your defensive acquisition in week 4, I like the Indianapolis Colts. Average own percentage of about 50% across all platforms, so you want to probably go try to grab them now. Last week against a Marcus Mariota-driven Titans offense, they were good for 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, one of which was returned for a touchdown. And this week, they're at home against a shaky and young Jacksonville Jaguars offensive unit. You're going to have elite corner Vontae Davis on Allen Robinson. Allen Hurns still nursing an injury. And I think they're going to rally big this week after a nice performance last week, especially when you have Andrew Luck facing a bit of an issue with the shoulder. I like the Colts in week 4 to come up with big points, and they're available to half of you. So Colts D and special teams for the win in week 4. And last but certainly not least, I got that kicker position ready to fill with Josh Brown of the New York Giants. Now, his availability is becoming increasingly less as time passes. He's probably going to be available to about 45 to 50% of you right now, and that number will diminish, so I'd go pick him up on the waiver wire if you need a kicker in week 4. Josh Brown has been perfect this year thus far, good for 9 of 9 field goal attempts and 7 of 7 extra points. Now, this shows you that the Giants are needing to utilize their kicker to put points on the board. 9 opportunities to kick field goals. He's made 1 50-plus yarder, 3 40-plus yarders, a perfect guy that actually goes to work with his foot, not just kicking extra points here and there. And they're up against a Buffalo Bills defense who effectively stops the drive. So I guarantee that they're going to be needing to bring in their kicker, their elite perfect kicker, to help them out with an offensive push in week 4. I like Josh Brown a ton. Hope you can still grab him because I think he's a solid option for you. And just like that, quick, clear, concise fantasy advice for your mind. I hope it was helpful and illuminating. My name is Tara T. Killakoha, and this is the Fantasy Fourth Down, where we always go for it, never punt. On behalf of Baller Mindframe and myself, I'd like to thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Enjoy the games, and may the best team win this week, which I know will be yours, right? That's right. That's right. Okay, everybody. Peace.